G'day guys, welcome back. I'm going to do something a bit different for you today and show you how to make your own Druzy crystal inserts. Won't that be fun? Anyone want to see that? Alright, so these are the ones I sell in my store. Look how sparkly they are. They're so gorgeous. They're not very thick. So you put those inside something else and you pour on them, and then when you peel them out you get this crystal effect, because that shine and crystal transfers into your piece. There's a smaller one and then a little baby one. So yeah, they're really pretty, and I just thought I'd show you how to make them. I mean, don't make them yourselves and not buy mine. I do want you to still buy mine, but look, by the time you've bought all the ingredients, you know, to make it, and your stone and your resin and your silicone, unless you're going to be making hundreds of them, it's probably not worth your while. You probably are better off just, you know, buying a couple from me. But I will show you how to do them anyway. For those of you that are interested, maybe you've got your own silicone anyway. But yeah, if you're only doing a few, it's probably not worth your while, because you have to go and buy everything. And the silicone's expensive, like it's, you know, $40–50 a kilo or more. All right, now where to begin? So what I'm using today is crushed glass. This is the brand I'm using. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but that's the brand I'm using. So what I did with this, I put it in a sieve, and I sieved it, and then I got all these little pieces as well that fell through. It wasn't a very fine sieve, it was like a more open sieve, and these are the little pieces that I got afterwards, after it had been sifted. So I've kept those. I was going to throw them out because I just thought, oh, I just want the bigger pieces, and then I sifted them and I got the smaller pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one with the bigger pieces and one with the smaller pieces, okay? So what I'm going to do first, I haven't mixed up my resin yet because I thought I'd come and talk to you first, and then make up my resin, because I don't want it sitting here, you know, going off or curing before I finish talking to you. So this one here, I'm just going to pour some stones in there. I've just got it in this like little dessert pudding cup, about half, I guess. You can always add more. Same with that one. I only need a thin layer over the top of my mold. Now these molds are my 12cm round coaster molds. You can buy them individually in my store, and they'll make a really nice size Druzy insert. So there we go, we've got half and half. Hopefully that's enough. I'll just put those over there. Yeah, if I need more I can still add more, but we'll see how we go with half a cup. Okay, so I'm going to go and mix up my resin now, and just put those there. And I'll come right back to you now that we've got all that other stuff out of the way. Right, I've mixed up my resin. Don't need very much. I'm using the Platinum 360 Plus resin because it cures up nice and fast. So I'll be able to do this project, finish it, you know, just in a few hours. So I've made 50 grams of A and 22 grams of B. And I always weigh it, and I know that A weighs more than B, so I just follow my little chart. Right, now we've got our resin and we've got our stones. You can use whatever you like. I just like using these crushed stones here. So this is obviously going to be more chunky, and this is going to be more fine, so whichever one you like, or you may actually like to mix them two together. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to start slowly by adding some resin. So do a little bit at a time, okay? Because you want a thick paste. You don't want to have your stones swimming in resin. Otherwise you're not going to get that, you know, crushed glass look. Oh, there's something in there that doesn't belong in there. A little white stone. I don't know how that got in there. So yeah, just add your resin slowly. You might not even need all of that. You just want to basically wet each little stone. If you put too much resin in, it's just going to, yeah, you'll just have like a flat top. You'll lose all your little crystally effect. But in saying that, you do need just a little bit on the bottom. I'll mix this one. I find I always need just a little bit of resin on the bottom just to make a base. If you don't put enough resin in, you'll find that you may have some holes like in the bottom of your piece, and then of course your silicone is going to fall through. So it's just a little bit of experiment. You don't want it so much resin that you lose your texture, but if you don't have enough resin, you'll have holes in it between the stones where the silicone can fall through. So look at that. See, it's holding together. But what I will do now is just really quickly is just pour a little bit of resin in there, and I'm just going to spread that out just so that we don't have an issue with holes in the bottom. It's probably a little bit hard to explain to you, but if you do this, you'll know what I mean. If you end up with holes and then your silicone will fall through. Spread that out as little amount as you can, because your rock's going to fall into this and you don't want it to go over the top of the rock. So just as little as you can, just to cover that. Okay, we'll do the same with the other one. This is exciting, isn't it? Something new. Took me a while to work out how to do these, I must say. I think I've got it now. Happy to share it with you. I was going to actually put it up as a paid video. You know how you pay to watch? So many people do that. Like, you got to pay to watch their videos, or you subscribe and you, like, it's pay per month or whatever, and then you get to watch special videos. But I'm putting it up for free. But in saying that, if I have helped you out, I really would appreciate it if you could go to my little PayPal link below and leave me a little tip, a little donation. That would be awesome. I know you don't have to, but just a little way of saying thank you for my videos. I really, really would appreciate that. Okay, there we go. Now that's covered. There's a couple of little spots in this one that haven't been covered yet, so let's just put a little bit more in there. Just a tiny bit. When we add the stones, it'll most likely cover in anyway. All right, so there we go. That's covered. Give it a last little push, and then we're going to throw our stones in. Well, maybe not so much of the throwing, but we're going to dump the stones in. And we just need a thin layer, so push them out. Hopefully I've got enough. If you don't make enough, that's okay. I've still got some resin left. And we can always mix up a little bit more stone, but you don't want it too thick. You just want it to cover the bottom there. I'll just tip all of that in, and then I'll spread it out. So I'll show you how to do this, and then once it's ready for the next step, I'll show you that. I'll talk to you about the next step. No point in confusing you at the moment. All right, so there we go. Just push that to the edges. Looks pretty, doesn't it? So far so good, not too difficult so far for you. Hopefully not. And I'm just trying to spread it evenly. It just takes a little bit of time. You don't want to bump in the middle. Alright, that'll do for that one for now. I'll come back to it and just make sure that it's all leveled. Okay, the next one. I don't think I put as much stone in this one. I might need a... Oh, no, I probably don't need a little bit more because it's a smaller stone. Okay, spread that again. It's going to want to pull from the outside in, so just don't put any more resin in, just spread it just before you pour. And it doesn't have a chance to move again. Okay, there we go, and we'll just dump all that in as well. Might not need all of it. There's something else in there. Might not need it all, but we'll see. So this is going to give us a much finer Druzy crystal. Just making sure we're still taping. So whichever one you like I said, you can mix the two together, or you could do big crystals with chunky glass. Put a bit more in just to cover that little edge there. Might as well use it all up. Hey, it's not like I can use it for anything else. I will wipe out my little cups later and use them again. I just wipe out the resin with a paper towel, and then I can use my little cups again. I think they were maybe little fruit cups. You know, you peel the top off and you get little fruit cup. I think that's what it might have been. I save all those sorts of things because I think, oh, I might use this one day. Oh, here comes the rain. I don't know if you can hear the rain or not. Okay, spread that. Now I like it to be, I don't like to push down too hard because I want it to be kind of a little bit uneven. So I'm not going to push it down and smooth it totally, because I think the Druzy crystals look nice when they're a little bit more sort of uneven. So I'm going to leave it like that. And then this one, I'll just give it a little bit of a smooth over. Again, I don't want to do it too much, because I like that sort of uneven rocky look to it. Okay, so there we go. That's it for the first stage. You don't have to give it a torch or something, but I mean you could, but you don't have to. You're not going to, if there's a bubble in there, you're not going to see it, are you? I'm just going to, I'll bring you down for a bit of a close-up. So you can see the sparkle. So that's it there. And then this is the fine one. Okay. And hopefully we'll get something like this. And you get it, of course, you get a different effect with different glass and things like that as well. All right, so now basically what I need to do is I need to wait. You know, if you're doing a bowl and you wait until your resin's kind of soft enough to pick up and move, similar to this. So I'm going to wait probably 2 hours. I'm going to set my alarm for 2 hours, and then I'm going to come back and check them and see if I can actually peel them out. So when you can peel them out but they're still soft and bendy but not sticky, that's when we'll go on to the next step. So I will see you then. Righto, so it has been 3 hours, almost. I think I did these at about just before 10. Because I remember looking at the clock and thinking, oh, it's 10 o'clock, it's time for a cuppa. So, and now it's 10 to 1, so 3 hours. So, we should be able to, so they're still bendy, but you should be able to get them out and touch them without them sticking to you. Okay, so that's when you know it's it's ready. Don't leave it too long. It's got to be able to bend. Now, when I get these out, like so, ta-da, we have a piece. We have a druzy. But what we need to do now is, like, we can't just pour straight onto that, can we? No, the silicone's just going to fall all out of it. So we need to put that into something. So if you measure, if you do get one of these from my store, it is 12 centimeters across. So you need something that's a little bit smaller to put this into, that'll come up the sides a little bit, because you want to make something that you can pour your silicone into. So it's got to have sides, all right? So that's 12 centimeters. So you need something maybe 10 and a half, I guess, centimeters, just so that you can get like a half a centimeter or a centimeter up the sides. Ta-da! Here's a couple I prepared earlier. Now these are just pot plant holders. You know, you put your plant in it, little pot plant. I just got these from Bunnings, which is an Australian hardware store. So they, at the bottom, whoops, I like this because it's bendy. These at the bottom are about 10 and a half centimeters. So that leaves me with 1.5 centimeters to play with. Okay, so let's see if we can get it in there, hey? So try to make it as even as possible. Push it in all the way around. Make sure that it's even so that you've got a little lip at each side. This side doesn't look quite as even. That's 1.4, 1.3. I'm just going to move it over just a touch more that way. So yeah, just have a little play with it. Now that side needs to be a bit higher. Anyway, you get the general idea. Try and get it so that it's equal all the way around. Just take a little bit of time. So you need to be able to pick it up and move it. So don't let it be too sticky, and don't let it harden up too much on you. Otherwise, you won't be able to bend it. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I think I've got enough up the sides. Because if you don't have enough up the sides, your silicone, when you pour it in, you know, it's going to just run everywhere. So you've got to make a little boat for it to sit in, don't you? I think that's right. All right, let's move on to the next one. Look at that. Pretty cool, hey? Very cool. All right, now let's see if I can get it in here in one go without having to move it again. You try and get your sides equal there. It's a bit difficult to do. But look, if you were using something, I'll push that right down into that little point there on the bottom of your little container thing. Get it right in there so that you've got more of a flat and then sides rather than a just curve, flat and then straight up if you can. It'll just be easier for when you're pouring your silicone in. There we go, there's that one, and there's this one. Push that in as well, all the way down. I mean, this one's more chunky, so it's not quite as easy. I think it needs to go that way. Oh, just a little one more time. No, let's leave it. It's enough. I'll bring it down so you can have a look and see what I mean about having that little lip on it. So now all we have to do is wait for this to set up. Oops, get my fingers out of the screen. It's a bit difficult to show you, but there, you can see how it sort of goes up the sides just a little bit. If you used a smaller container, then you'd have more up the sides, but because you're only going to pour your silicone quite thin, you know, it'll probably come up to just below that, just below the edge there, because that's the bottom, and then you can come all the way up here. You're not going to pour it that thick, but I mean you could come up to the top if you wanted to, but that's pretty thick. So we'll just give it a thin amount of silicone in there. You can probably see it easier on this one, where there's a little lip there. Look how sparkly they are, and you can feel that they're textured. Alright, so now we're just going to let them set up. I won't touch them until tomorrow. Make sure that they're really, really nice and firm and set. I wonder what size they'll be. Not bigger than that. Yeah, probably pretty similar to that actually. They'll probably be pretty similar to that. That's what it looks like when you unmold these, you see, like so. Anyway, that's it for now. I will come back to you tomorrow when these have cured fully and they're set up, and then we'll pour some silicone into them. Hey, how exciting! See you then. Okay, so it's been a day or so. I got sidetracked doing other things, but I was just making some molds, and I remembered to grab a bit of silicone. So I've got 70 grams in there, about 2.5 ounces ish. Right, so get them out, if we can get them out. I guess the good thing about using, you know, something that's plastic, it kind of bends. So be careful I don't break it. Whoops. It doesn't want to come out as easily as I had anticipated. Let's get something underneath that. Hang on. Normally they would pop out just really easily. Hang on, I'm just going to put you on hold and then I'll do it in case something flies up at me. Righto guys, so it's the next day. I was just making up some molds, so I grabbed a bit of silicone. I only got about, it's about 70 grams, so about 2.5 ounces. I just poured it into that. So I'll just take this out. Oh, they come out really easily because it's just, you know, resin doesn't stick to plastic. So there we go. All right, so the next thing we need to do, if by any chance you do get like a little hole, all you need to do is, because when I first started making these, I did end up having little holes in them because I didn't put quite enough in. But if you do find you have a little hole, just put a little bit more resin in that. Just cover it, stick that back down, push it down, and let it go off. And then you'll have another layer of resin over the top there, and that will just cover up any little holes that you might have. Okay, tiny little bits of glass everywhere. Now be careful guys, it is glass, so be careful, don't cut yourself. Some pieces can be a little bit sharp. All right, here we go. Now just pour this in. Now we don't want to put too much in there. The silicone's starting to go a bit thick because it's been sitting. Yeah, don't want to pour too much in. I won't need all of this. Just need a little thin layer. This one, obviously, because it's chunkier, it's going to take a little bit more silicone because it's going to be deeper. So just push it out to the edges, and you can see now how having that little lip there, how that works. So just put a little bit in first, because these don't need to be very thick. You just need to be, you basically just want to cover your base. If you find there's like a really high piece that's poking up through the center, you can just get your little pair of pliers and just snap it off, okay? Because if you've got one bit that's poking up, then you think, oh gosh, now I have to fill up more to cover that. Just break him off, he'll be fine. I'll let that settle. That one does need a bit more, but we'll just let that settle, let the silicone level itself. It is self-leveling, as is resin, so we'll just let it settle down, make its way to the edges, and then I'll come back and put a little bit more on that one. Just push it into the edges, and by having the edges made out of the same crystal, you get a really nice edge rather than just like a flat edge. You get a nice crystally edge, and you get a sloping edge, so that when you do use it in your bigger mold, yeah, you just get a pretty sloping edge. You don't get a straight down like a cliff. It's just more of a this gradual slope. Right, so this one needs more. I'm just going to give it a quick torch. You can torch your silicone same as you torch your resin, but just be careful. If you torch it too much, it'll get a skin over the top, and then all the bubbles will be trapped in it. So yeah, just use whatever silicone you've got, whatever you can get. This is just a 1-to-1. Doesn't matter what color you get, just, but yeah, like I said, by the time you've bought your stones and your silicone, it's really, it's cheaper just to you know, buy it ready-made. But if you want to do it yourself, this is how you do it. But if you're a little bit on the budget conscious side, yeah, it's probably better off just to buy them. Okay, so the way I tell if I've got it deep enough is, like, you can still see the crystals through there. You know, you don't want it totally opaque, because it's going to be really thick. I'll just leave it like that. I'll add a bit, you know, slowly. You don't need a lot. But look, you know, if you've got your mold, if you do unmold it and you think, oh gee, it's a bit thin and delicate, just pour yourself another one. Make another one. If, for instance, you have torched too much and you've got a skin over the top, just grab a toothpick and you can pop your bubbles like that. The bubbles will keep coming up because it's a Druzy crystal, so come back and sort of check it every 5 minutes until your silicone starts to set up that you can't pop any bubbles. But you see how they keep coming up? So just come back and check them. And don't over torch, because you'll get that skin. Might put just a tiny little bit more in you. A bit more just on the edge there. Not that it's going to stay there, it's going to level itself out. But there we go, I've got a tiny bit left. Alright, so that is it. And oh, I'll bring you down. Not that there's much to see, but I'll bring you down. Shake, shake, shake. So you can see there's a couple of little bubbles there still. I'll give them a burst with the heat. And it'll pop them. If they don't pop, just get them with the toothpick. It won't matter. I mean, if it's just for you, it doesn't matter if there's bubbles on the other side. But because there's lots of little air pockets in there, yeah, you can get bubbles. Don't spray it with alcohol like you would with resin. Silicone doesn't like alcohol. All right, I'll see you later on today or tomorrow, and we will unmold them. Hey everyone, I'm back. It is time to demold these gorgeous creatures. So I just use a skewer. So all you want to do now, this is the one that had, this is the bigger glass crystals or glass pieces, and that was the little fine one. So all I do is really carefully just find an edge. Just be careful because the edges are thin. Just sort of loosen it enough to get your fingers in there, and then you can easily just pull that away like so. Look at that. Comes away nice and easily. So the pattern that you get will depend on, you know, your mold, the glass that you've used. But look at that. Look how gorgeous and shiny and crystally that is. So you can use this again now, over and over and over and over and over. So let's have a look at our piece that we've made. If you find that there's like little high pieces, you know, if you've had a little hole in here, and then you'll end up with a little high piece on here, you can just cut it off, no problem. See, so you've got our little edges like that. That's the side. So you would then put this inside a bigger mold, pour resin onto it, and then when you peel it off, you'll have this effect on your finished resin piece. There you go. And look, you can see how it's all shimmery and shiny. The shine and the texture and everything gets transferred over from the glass. So that's that one done. All right, let's have a look at this one. Same thing, loosen it all the way around. This one's got much finer texture, so it'll probably come out a little bit easier. Just be careful when you start, you don't want to tear it. If you get any little bits left over, like stuck to the mold, but it's okay, don't worry about it too much. Especially with the first one that you cast, you may have a few little pieces that get stuck. I love the noise it makes when it comes out. Oh, look! It's tricky doing it here, down here. Normally I would do it up closer to my body so that I can sort of got more control over it, but just go gently. We'll just go, take your time, go gently. It's just the edges really, because this one's not as thick as that one because, you know, the crystals aren't as big on this one, so you didn't need as much silicone. So it's a little bit more, it's a little bit thinner, it's a little bit more delicate. So just take your time. All the way around. I've got you in front of my window here, getting the morning sun. Love the noises it makes. Nearly there. Oops. Tore it a little bit. If you tear it, don't worry. It won't matter. Once it's in your big mold, you won't notice if it's got a little tear in it, but just, you know, be gentle. Obviously I'm rushing a little bit because you're all watching, waiting in anticipation. But if you're doing it at home, you'd probably take a little bit more time and care. A couple of little loose bits of glass. Nearly out, nearly out, nearly out. Alrighty. Oh, it's out! Woohoo! Alright, so I've got a couple of little pieces of glass that has come away. Only tiny, you can just pick them off. Sometimes you get little pieces that stick in there. Oh, one more. That's not bad at all. So totally different texture. Look at that. It's still really, really shiny and shimmery. It's much thinner, as you can see. And you can make these in whatever size you want. I made a bowl out of one of them. Made a little trinket bowl. So there we go. There's those two. Hope you've enjoyed that video. Hope you've learnt something. And yeah, feel free to send me a little tip if you've enjoyed the video, if you've learnt something, if you want to make your own Druzy inserts. So there we go. Thanks again for watching. And I will see you all real soon for the next video. Okay, bye for now.